person who will feel the impact of this change is Raquel Roberts, whose husband, Manuel, is struggling to stay in the UK because she doesn't meet this criteria. Good morning, Raquel. Now, this is a significant rise. How is this going to affect you and your family?
It's disastrous, really, isn't it? And it's not just my family either. We're talking about thousands of families. So it's a very distressing situation. It's totally hypocritical of a party that claims to put family values at the forefront of their policies, because they're doing exactly the opposite of that. And it's an amount now where 50% of the UK population do not earn enough to sponsor a foreign spouse. So that means 50% of the population can now no longer fall in love with a foreigner, or if you do, you're exiled. You have to leave the UK.
Raquel, can you just tell us a bit more about your story, how you met your husband and your two sons and where they are at the moment?
Okay, so we have known each other some 16 years. We have been together 10 years. We have been married 9 years. And our first son was born 8 years ago. So, you know, this is not some kind of holiday romance or whim or anything. I actually have a master's in teaching English to speakers of other languages and applied linguistics. So I have been abroad working. I came back, we came back 2019. There had been some unfavorable, pretty scary incidents happened. And essentially, I was teaching here at a private language college on my way to making the minimum income requirement, and then COVID struck. So we were in that period of, because to apply, the Brit and only the Brits, and this is where the UK is now the harshest country in the world for this type of visa, the Brit partner has to be in this country earning the minimum income requirement for a period of 6 months before they can apply to bring their partner with them.
Can I jump in? Because we've spoken to you before, and I have sympathy with you. I just want to read this. I'm not taking the opposite view. Home Office spokesman said the current levels of migration to the UK are far too high. You talk about a party and a government about family values. They will say migration is something that is at the forefront of everybody's minds, and many people in this country want that as a situation sorted. What I'd like, briefly, before we take in David Haig, is how would you respond to that? What would you say to that?
Okay. I could show you pictures of 22 Tory MPs who are married to foreign spouses. They're hypocrites. Next. Family visas account for 5% of all legal visa stamped entry. That's tiny compared to the whole situation. The government haven't even been able to publish an equality impact assessment. The impact assessment that they have published shows that they just do not know how much this is actually going to affect their numbers, because there are so many variables on family visas. They think that it could be anywhere between 10 and 30,000 families. Yeah, how can you put any kind of price on family? Okay, these kids, they need parents.
Yeah, stay there. Don't disagree with that. Let's bring in human rights law very briefly. David Haig, really quickly, my friend. Sorry, timing. You know, lots of people going through this at the moment. I gave out what the Home Office is saying. You know, migration levels are too high. There's an issue here, though, isn't there? Just briefly, what would your view of this situation be?
Yeah, good morning to you both. I mean, very briefly, I mean, I think, Raquel's put it better than I could. This is nothing more than the cruel destruction of British families for short-term political gain. These figures are insignificant when you come to the absolute broken immigration system that we're facing. It's a couple of percent per people that come in on these visas, and they are British families. These are not families coming across from other countries. These are British families that have been broken. The figures are insignificant, and like I said, it's effectively cooking the books to get some cheap political wins.
it doesn't seem to be dealing with the absolute issue of migration as we know.
And also, really quickly,
votes.
David, it favours wealthy people. It's not actually stopping people coming into the country. Why not do it on another basis? Whether you're a father of 2 children, you know, how close your ties are to the UK, rather than on money.
Absolutely. I mean, it's effectively half the country, pretty much half the country, particularly in deprived areas where I'm from, Cornwall, wouldn't be able to marry who they love or bring their children if they are under a certain income level. And that's just wrong. Love shouldn't be about, I don't want to become too much of a human rights point here, but, you know, love shouldn't be about money.
I wish we had more time, Raquel.
Yeah.
We wanted to get you on. David is, although I have a slight opinion here. I think I've never seen David Bull and David Haig in the same room. I think they are one as... honestly, I don't believe that's David Haig. I think that's Bull pretending to be a human rights lawyer. Thank you, gang.
Thank you so much.